Welcome back. This is Signature Morning on Signature TV. Hope you're good out there. So we are 13 days into the month of May, almost halfway into the month of May 2025. So we switch gears to health, and it's health out of the University of Nigeria in Uko campus. They are doing their Department of Nursing Science Community Health unit. Apparently that unit is doing something quite interesting. They're doing the 29th annual Health Day, and they picked a very, very important theme, which is breastfeed the child, build a community. That topic has been one that has been a touching one, giving the importance of it. You know, every single child today turns out to become an adult, and while they are kids, you know, there are a lot of things that happened with breastfeeding, which the two nurses that have been flanked will be speaking to. I have with me in the studio Leticia Ibekwe. Chisom, thank you for joining us. Good morning.
Thank you.
I have the second nurse with me in the studio as well. She is one that would also speak to the issue regarding breastfeeding the kids. I'm talking about Miracle Ozioko. Good to have you. Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning to you too.
So how important is it talking about breastfeeding, especially for kids and their mothers?
Breastfeeding is a very important topic, you know, because we all were birthed and we went through that process once in life, and we all had breast milk. And breast milk is one that every child needs because it helps in brain development, cognitive development. So you see that sometimes when someone does something in public, you hear people usually say "Oniwura randegi," because breast milk is very, very important. So it is a very crucial topic, and recently the way that you know, some mothers try to avoid breastfeeding these days, you know, it's something that we need to talk about.
So is that the reason why you chose the theme? Because I mean, it could have been anything. It could have been puberty, could have been anything. So why specifically that topic?
We chose the topic because we need the communities, because public health nursing, you know, we have to go into the communities, people who are staying in the rural areas. So we chose this topic because we need them to understand the importance of breastfeeding. We need them to see that it's important that you breastfeed your child. Exclusive breastfeeding. Exclusive breastfeeding, I mean just breast milk from the first hour of life for the baby till 6 months. So we need them to see the importance of breastfeeding, the benefits there. So that is why we chose the topic. It could have been any topic, but breastfeeding is something that we need to talk about. We need to talk more on it so that mothers don't shy away from breastfeeding their babies, and babies will have all the benefits that comes with breastfeeding.
Okay, let me come to you. What are for you the roles of the nurses in assisting mothers to breastfeed their kids?
Okay, because of the importance of this particular topic, the nurses have a very crucial role in breastfeeding. Now, the nurses, they come in as the educators and the advocates, because we teach the community the importance of this breastfeeding, and we teach them why mothers and every family needs to imbibe with this particular process. Now, nurses also, they are the ones that they also go for training so that they can get the knowledge and the skill that they need for this particular event, for this particular process. Now, the nurses also, they find out and they identify the problems that could be associated with mothers breastfeeding their babies, while these mothers shy away from this process, and they go ahead to address these issues one after the other, and, you know, encouraging and supporting women to breastfeed their babies. Yeah.
Well, how do nurses support women who don't have breast milk after birth?
Okay, that is why we have the prenatal care and the antenatal, that is the antenatal and postnatal care. Yeah, under the prenatal and antenatal care is like the care that mothers are given to before they give birth to their child. Now, if there is any complication that might result in this woman not having enough breast milk, or anything that might happen that this woman might not be able to breastfeed their child, it is during this antenatal care that nurses will find out these things. For instance, if it's a woman that takes alcohol on a normal, during this antenatal care, she'll be advised that she needs to stop, because taking alcohol will not be good for the child, because definitely the child will be getting stuff from the alcohol through the breast milk. So she'll be advised to stop. And then for women that have any other complication, this is the period it will be found out. So this is how nurses are able to help women. And also, they also try to educate the women on good nutrition, feeding well, because it's true that breastfeeding, the quantity of the breast milk that will be coming out might be the quality might be affected by the food that a mother eats. So the woman needs to eat adequately and nutritious diets during this period of her pregnancy and even after she has given birth, so that she can to produce a quality and a quantifiable breast milk.
There are women who would say that it doesn't really matter, that using formula would do for them. What advice would you give to those kinds of people? Because again, there are people who don't really think that breastfeeding is that important.
Okay, breast milk is very important, and that is why as nurses we have a crucial role to play with the mothers, especially during the prenatal and the antenatal period. You explain to the mothers that you can't compare breast milk to formula. Those are like milk. They are not gotten from human. Yes, they are not gotten from human. And then breast milk has like so many other breast milk has vitamin A, D, E, K, and also breast milk has so many nutritional contents in it that you cannot compare with formula. Breast milk also has protein in it. It has proteins it has both whey protein and casein protein, which can help to keep the baby for a longer period, especially when like the mother is not there to breastfeed the baby. And also, when you want to compare breast milk and formula, you find out that most babies that they are formula fed, they are usually prone to obesity. But when you breastfeed your baby, the baby has less chances of being obese. And also, when you are giving formula, some mothers, they are not even neat. They don't even keep their environment clean. They can't even wash the things that they use to feed the baby, like the tubes and the cups and all of that. You need to have like a measure whereby you keep those equipments clean to avoid infections to the baby, because you know that newborn babies, they are prone to infections, like easily prone to infections. So breast milk will help you prevent all that, because it's from the mother's breast to the baby. So there is nothing like you want to wash the spoon so that you use it and feed the baby, or you want to keep the cans clean. So that is why we encourage mothers to breastfeed, because you can't compare breast milk to formula. Breast milk is God-given, it's from God. Well, formula, it's man that made it. So you can't compare what man has made to what God has made.
You want to say something?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, years before now, and even presently, so many mothers are still saying that giving their child breast milk is not really necessary, since there's formula, there's all those formulas there. But I want to bring to the notice that studies has been going on, right? Studies has been going on, and we found out that babies that are not well fed, that's giving their mother's breast milk well, how it should be, that they come down with some kind of illnesses. These babies, they are at risk of sudden infant death syndrome, because they are also at risk of respiratory distress, they are at risk of asthma and all those other diseases that could have been prevented if they were adequately fed with their mother's breast milk. They're also at risk of diarrhea, like my colleague said, because they might be fed with food that is not clean, Then also, it has also been, that is why healthcare encourage every mother to please to do make it an importance to breastfeed your child, because it's really important. And also that first milk that comes out when a woman gives birth is called a colostrum. Yes, that milk is very important because it's filled with antibodies. These antibodies will help to fight against disease in the child's body. Imagine where this child does not get this antibody and he comes across any diseases that is, of course, diseases are flying around. Yes, they will come down with them. So.
What are the signs of breastfeeding complications, and how do you respond to them?
Okay, when we come to breastfeeding complications, for instance, okay, let's say it like this. Once a woman gets pregnant, the breast milk starts forming. So the hormones that are responsible for that are at work, but it doesn't come out then because there's a particular hormone that helps this breast milk to come out, but it is inhibited at that time the woman is pregnant. So once the woman delivers, the hormone that was inhibiting the breast, like the breast milk let down, becomes reduced, so the breast can come out. But then if a woman does not breastfeed her child, this breast milk will continue to accumulate. And of course, even us humans, we eat and we do a lot of things, so we are prone to getting some microorganisms. Of course, we have microorganisms inside our body. So when these microorganisms continue to multiply and multiply and multiply excessively in the breast milk, it can cause inflammation, it can cause problem in the breast milk, it can cause swelling in the milk, it can cause swelling in the breast. So that is why we advise, as long as the woman is giving her child breast milk, this swelling will not be there. Even though as you are giving the child, more milk is being produced, you will give the child, more milk will be produced, but you will know that it's fresh milk that is always in the breast. Do you understand? So there will be no stored milk, there will be no need for growth of excessive micro or dangerous microorganisms in the breast. So this complication will not arise. And also some mothers, sometimes they will have some sensitive or discomforting sensation during breastfeeding their child. Maybe they can have sore nipples and stuff like that. But for that sore nipple, we advise that mothers continue to give their babies, because it will just last for few days, especially for first time mothers. Yeah.
All right. Do you think lack of breastfeeding causes cancer, breast cancer specifically? Okay.
So one of the benefits of breastfeeding to the mother is that it helps to prevent breast cancer and cervical cancer. It helps to prevent some of these cancers that women experience.
Two nurses with me from the Enugu campus. They are doing the 29th Health Day, and apparently it is one important day because they have chosen a topic that all women should actually look out for. They're also having a reach out to communities across Enugu State. I understand that they're going to be meeting with a lot of women, teaching them the importance of breastfeeding. But one would wonder really, beyond the community that they are going to, because these people are located in the rural areas, there are people who are in town who really don't care about feeding. What do you say to them? How do you advise them to note that this is important?
Okay, first of all, I'd like to say something. We're not just going there for the women, because you cannot talk about breastfeeding without the father. So the women always need support from their husband. So you find out that a woman who breastfeeds their baby properly, regularly, will always have support of the man behind her, because it is not easy. And for the women who are well educated but shy away from breastfeeding, we just have to keep on talking about it, because you just have to keep on talking about it, telling them, encouraging them, educating them. Breastfeeding will help in the cognitive development of your child. I mean, who doesn't want their child to be smart? So we'll keep talking about it. That's why even in school, we talk about it all day long. So we'll just keep on saying the benefits and encouraging mothers. They don't have any reason not to breastfeed. There is no reason not to breastfeed. If you are running away from your breast being sagged, it will definitely sag one day. I mean, when time comes, you will see it the way it is. So when it's for breastfeeding, I think you should consider your child first before the way you look or the way you want to look. So, because most of the times, these educated women is because their appearance. I don't want my husband to leave me, or I don't want my husband to leave me and be carrying a young girl that their breasts are still standing. But you're not thinking about your child. You're not thinking about how the person is going to, what the breast milk is going to do for the child, how the breast milk is going to form the brain, because it will help to develop the child's brain. So these are the things that they need to consider and rethink about breastfeeding their child. So we just have to keep on talking about it.
What is the significant difference of a child who was breastfed at least exclusively for 6 months and the one who was mildly breastfed or maybe never really did?
Okay, I think that's exclusive breastfeeding and complementary breastfeeding. The exclusive breastfeeding is giving your child only breast milk for 6 months, while the complementary one is you can complement other food with the breastfeeding. Healthcare supports exclusive breastfeeding for every woman that can do this, because like we said before, that breast milk is enough for the child. You don't have to add any other thing at that tender age, because you don't want to give the child too much nutrients that the child become very fat, obese. Because weight is, you don't want the child to become obese, because once the child becomes obese, he's also exposed to other diseases that are around. And also, we don't want to introduce germs into the child's body, because we cannot assure of how you prepare this food. It's not what you, because we might eat something as adults and we are okay, but once a child eats that food, you might think you might think you prepared it in a very clean environment and all of that. They can come down with diarrhea and stuff like that. So that's the difference. And also, like we said before, the breast milk, the complementary breastfeeding can give the child excessive protein which they don't need. This breast milk have a specific quantity of protein, a specific quantity of lactose, which is carbohydrates, a specific quantity of every nutrient that this child needs. So we don't want to give this child excessive nutrients.
Does it have any adverse effects as they grow up or when they become adults? Is there something you could tell to say, okay, just like the example that you gave, that when somebody behaves a certain way in the society, you say, are you sure you even... So what is that thing you see in somebody that you say, maybe this person wasn't even breastfed properly?
Okay, apart from the cognitive... I'm not saying that a child that was not breastfed, please get me right. Definitely this person will have, they will have developed mentality and all of that. But we are just saying that the exclusive breastfeeding will help the child to have a smarter, like, there is a difference between this child is this age and he's supposed to be understanding this thing, but he's not understanding it. It does not have sense, like, or it does not have mentality. But this child is this age, he's supposed to be doing this. It's called milestone. A child that is supposed to have been walking that is not walking, it could be because of what he was fed. A child that is supposed to have been crawling but he's not crawling, it could be because of what's been fed before. So it could be adverse effects. And even before that, there is something that is called what's it called? Sudden infant death syndrome. It's common among children that are below 5, from age 5. So giving your child so many things that you are not even sure of if they are good, because this breast milk, like we said, has antibodies. Once you eat this food, your own, like the mother's own antibodies will fight if there's any infection, if there's any germ, will fight it. And we now know that what she's giving to the child is sterile, let's say, right? So this child will not have to be fighting with infection, all of that. But when we begin to introduce other feed to this child's body, it might cause this child to have infection, and it can even lead to death. It can lead to respiratory distress. Like we talked about obesity, this child will become obese. Obesity is not good for anybody. It's not about my child she's eating well. The child have to be in the normal range of weight that he's supposed to be for their age mates. There's a normal, yeah. So I think that's as affects the obesity, the sudden infant death, the respiratory distress,
All right. So we have not tried to speak through to some of these issues, because sometimes these decisions are taken by just one person, sometimes by two persons. Sometimes the husband is not even aware of some of these things. You want to extend this communication to husbands, but how much of knowledge do you think the man should have, especially in things like this? Because a man can also direct the wife to do the breastfeeding if she refuses or if she doesn't want to, because of her own personal conviction of the fact that all of these that people have said is actually false. Do you think that the man also requires the knowledge, and to what extent, and how much of that knowledge do you think that he seeks?
That is why I said that you can't about breastfeeding and leave the man outside of that topic. You have to bring the man. It works like both the mother and the father, the wife and the husband, they work hand in hand to ensure that the baby is properly breastfed. Because there's no particular time to feed a newborn. You constantly, even when the baby is sleeping, you will tap the baby and you feed the baby. So at least 12 times in 24 hours. So the father, of course, is needed for this to happen. Okay, so the mother needs the support of the man. So whenever we are talking about breastfeeding, we always involve the men, because their support is needed for it to be a successful, exclusive breastfeed. Their support is needed. You will also teach them the benefit of exclusively breastfeeding a child, so that when the woman does not want to, he will encourage her. And when the woman wants to breastfeed, the husband will also encourage her. So sometimes, like my brother's wife, when I stayed with her, when she put to bed, in the night she doesn't sleep because the baby is usually awake in the night. And they're always breastfeeding the baby in the night. So when I enter the room, I usually see my brother carrying the baby. So it's like that. You have to bring the men to involve. They have to be involved because their support is also needed. When it's time for the woman, because during these periods, it's as if the woman's life have been taken away from her. So the husband is needed to encourage her, because those periods, a lot of things that she will be doing, she won't be able to do them again because the baby is the most important at that time. So now who takes care of the woman? It's the husband. When she's taking care of the baby, the husband is taking care of her. So men also need like all the 100% education on breastfeeding. We don't leave them out. When we have a component of public health that we call maternal and child health, it has to do with family planning and also this exclusive breastfeeding. We carry the men along. We don't leave them behind, because their support is what keeps the women going.
Support is key. Very important. Maybe this is practically unrelated, but let me ask you people this, especially as it relates to our health services. I heard that most of you are doing what you're doing in order for you to, at the end of the day, leave the country. The Japa syndrome has hit the health sector and it's becoming really bad. Sources say that more than 90% of persons who are in your sector, the nursing sector, have already thought about leaving the country to practice. Let's start from you. Is that true, and why is that?
I can't say if it's true, because I will only talk about my own self. I don't know what is in the mind of others.
But have you thought about leaving the country?
Yes, I've thought about leaving the country, but still, Nigeria is my country, right? If the opportunity comes for me to leave, I will definitely leave, right? But if not, why will I leave my country and patronize others? I have to nurture people in my country, give them nursing care. They need the nursing care. So. Yeah. They
need enough care up to the extent of the fact that if the opportunity comes, you have to leave.
Yes, because they say something that if I know that the system might not be very right in the country, right? But they say that sorry, my voice. That you can, if you want to change the system, you have to leave that system.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So if you want to change it, if you want to bring change to a system, you have to leave that system. You don't have to work under that, like work with everything they do. So I might have to leave to get something for Nigeria.
But I thought you just said that this is your country, that you will not.
It's my country. I work for my country.
Okay.
But then if the opportunity comes, Who am I to say no?
What about you? Same thing with you? Have you thought about leaving the country when you're done?
Of course, I've thought about it, but I also want to say that I don't like the fact that Nigerians, we don't appreciate nurses enough.
Oh, okay.
And I think that's the reason why most people that's why the Japa syndrome. And it's not just for nurses, if you can tell. Because there are also people who are not nurses, but they want to Japa. So, but for nurses, Nigerians don't appreciate nurses enough. Because when you come to the healthcare system, nurses are the first line of action between the patients. But they don't treat nurses like they are that important. And if they start to look into it and give nursing the accolades that it deserves, I think more people would stay back in Nigeria than leave. Personally, for me, I've always wanted to practice in Nigeria. I mean, even if I was going to leave, I always wanted to practice in Nigeria. But it pains me that with all the efforts that we put into these healthcare systems, we are not being appreciated the way that we should. Because I go to the hospitals and it is nurses that stay with the patients 24 hours. When you go to any ward, because we've worked in the hospitals like general hospitals, so when you come to a particular ward, you see that before a patient says anything, they don't say doctor. What they say is no, so you get, when there is an emergency, what they usually scream is no, so even if like they actually need a doctor, they usually call out for a nurse first. But when it's time to appreciate these nurses, they appreciate the other people around first, and then they now treat nurses like nursing is just a common thing. But I'm praying to God and hoping that my generation will change the narrative. Because if we are able to do so, there will be less people to leave the country than more of the Japa syndrome.
Yeah.
So, for you, it's all about appreciating the nurses. But who doesn't appreciate the nurses, though?
I mean, the pay for the nurses is not encouraging. Okay. It's not encouraging. So, if something can be done about it, I mean, we all want to, you wouldn't want to do something and, you're supposed to receive a thank you and then the person just tells you, I mean, you're supposed to do that. Is it not your work? Are you not supposed to do it? So, if there's a way that, they will recognize nurses in Nigeria and put us in the rank that we deserve, there won't be much need to leave this country. So many nurses would rather stay back than leave.
So some of the persons who have left, what did they say? What were the reasons?
It's still the same. Yes,
it's
still the same reason that we're talking about. Because when you leave, they pay them, they appreciate them higher, they pay them higher, and they recognize them higher. Like nursing is one of the best profession in the whole world. But here in Nigeria, nursing is one of the commonest profession in Nigeria. So I think that's the reason why, personally, if I was going to leave the country, that would be the reason why I would leave. But
you would if you have the opportunity.
I mean, but I want to practice, and I'm going to practice. Even if I want to leave the country, I want to practice, and I'm going to practice in Nigeria.
I mean, you can practice elsewhere and get paid for it. I mean, I've already seen the disdain on your face with the way you spoke about how nurses are treated badly in Nigeria. So.
But then we're not going to leave these people because they are also depending on us, So sometimes we don't do it because of how they treat nurses. We do it because of what nursing entails. So I might want to leave, but I might also want to stay back and take care of people, because obviously we'll take care of them if all of us japa now.
Well, it's interesting. There's a fine way to live it, but let me come to you, Leticia, on your final note to just rehash what you guys would do on your 29th Health Day program that the institution is doing. Just tell us what exactly it's going to do, what you guys are going to do, what your engagement will be like, the importance of it, and then what it intends to achieve at the end of the day.
Okay. our 29th annual health day that is coming up on Wednesday, which is the 14th, tomorrow, yeah, which and is holding at Enugu East
Local government headquarters
center, right? Headquarters. Thank you. So on that day, we are going to start with medical outreach. The medical outreach, we need the community to come out because we have to do outreach for the community. The doctors that are coming, the dentists that are coming, the nursing care, the optometrists that are coming is for the community, right? So we need them to be present so that we can see them, we can give them medications, we can do all the necessary things that we have planned to do, like the dentists come in, they will wash, do what's it called?
Scaling and
polishing, yes. Then the optometrists that are coming. So, and we also have the consultants. So they have the opportunity to meet these people and receive that care from them. Then free of charge, yeah. Then after that section, we'll now go into the events of the day. The events, will be having guests, our school lecturers and the dignitaries in our school will be attending. Then the community members are also there, and the nursing students, which are us from different health centers. And we also have delegates from the different health centers that have gone to during this our period of hosting. They will also be present tomorrow. Then we have entertainment for the people, we have refreshments for the people, we have health talk for the people, we have drama for the people. And we also have cake to cut.
Oh, interesting.
And we also have dance, like
we are
dancing ourselves, like we the students. We are going to, all these entertainments will be done by us, all of us, the 400 level students of University of Nigerians Enugu campus. So we are all going to be performing this drama, the health talk, the dance. We are
prepared for the events. So we want the community to be present because we are doing it for them, for the community.
Does look like a dancing competition for people to come watch, you know, but it's all good. I mean, it's all good. I love what you both are doing, what the school is also doing. So we look forward to it. I'm sure that we're going to come through to cover it. So I want to say a very big thank you to both of you, Miracle and of course Leticia, both from the Enugu campus of the University of Nigeria, giving us an insight into what the importance of what they're doing as they head on to tomorrow's program, which is the 29th edition of the Health Day of the University of Nigeria Enugu campus. Charles Pius is my name.
Signature TV. News in your pocket.